So this is the part about street painting that's not fun. That's when you're watching your work and you're hoping to get going. You get there the next day, you see the clouds, the sunlight hit, and then all of a sudden this big gray monster comes over and you think, well, looks like I've got it again. For instance, this is the second time it's rained today, and all during the day, little drop by drop by drop, reminding me what's going to happen. And with the weather report like it is, it's very possible that this drawing we just have to consign to the gods, sacrifice. That's it.
Kurt is not the first street painter to have battled the elements. The tradition of the Modenari is hundreds of years old and grew out of the Roman Catholic reverence for the Virgin Mary. In the village where Kurt lives, the Church of the Santa Maria delle Grazie, built around 1400, features a painting of the Virgin and Child believed to have miraculous powers. When a prayer was answered, the thankful pilgrim might offer a token to Grazia's Madonna for grace received. Sometimes, a small painting was commissioned, a primitive depiction of the horrors from which a believer had been delivered. Some of the unnamed artists were likely to have been the beggars who sat on the pavement outside the church, making crude drawings of the Madonna in colored chalk. These artists were the Modenari. Once a year, Modenari from all over Europe converge on Grazia for a festival, which includes a 24-hour street painting contest. The Festival of the Madonna della Grazia is as old as the town, which is as old as the church. Street paintings have probably been a part of the festival for centuries, but since 1973, they have been the main attraction. The contest draws not only professional Modenari, but art students, teachers, critics, and thousands of onlookers.
I am not that good at this, and I am here with all these people that are much better than me. But I'm trying really hard, and I think I can do something good, even if it will not be truly beautiful.
To be a Madonnaro means to be on the road, to paint on the streets, because you need to make a living, and because it is your passion, your art. And also, we like to travel, to be independent.
Street painting is given a real boost by this international festival. Modenari can see each other's work and trade the latest information about where the money is good, where the police are unfriendly. The art of street painting is taken seriously here, and the life of these itinerant artists is acknowledged as a difficult but dignified way to earn a living.
One day you make nearly nothing, and one day you make a lot. It depends on many things: on the weather, the place, what you paint, how you paint, and especially how the people feel on one day.
Often I'm asked to go away by the guards or by policemen, but the people, they really appreciate me. You see, for me this is a way to bring art to the public. I am reproducing the masterpieces of great painters and bringing them to the people.
As the crowds are entertained and enriched by the array of chalk paintings at their feet, so are the Modenari rewarded by the attentions of the onlookers. For in this most public of art forms, it is ultimately the spectators that feed the artist, that inspire a Modenaro to continue his art. the ancient beggar's art of pavement and chalk.
The energy, the real energy that one gets from the public is on more of an intuitive level, more just the energy of the fact that they're there and you're there, and they're concentrating and you're concentrating. That's where the real energy comes from. It's just like being on a stage and getting the energy from the people. The great challenge is then to set aside a little piece in the middle of a noisy and distracting space, which is going to be subject for contemplation, for taking some of the people out of their daily grind, out of their mechanical routine, and set them into a little bit of fantasy, and to carve that fantasy out of the fabric of and the dirt of the street.
Coming up next, we'll travel to the edge of the world to explore South Georgia Island. It was once a center of the whaling and seal industries, but now the wildlife is coming back. We'll take a look right after this.
Lucky dog, I'm a lucky dog. Got my own bedroom, even got my own sweatshirt.
Here I
And I'm really lucky dog, a good person who cares for me with lucky dog. Crunchy bone meal on the outside, and inside a taste of real meat. Want to see an instant replay? Crunchy, meaty. New Lucky Dog brand dog food from Purina.
bath time.
Oh, my luck just ran out.
Make your dog a lucky dog today.
I think this bunch deserves a treat this weekend.
Yeah!
We'll need extra cash.
No problem.
The Discover Card. Smart move.
Get cash at thousands of automatic teller machines.
And more.
With Discover Card checks.
What next?
At largest Sears stores, coast to coast.
Get the most.
For cash 3 ways, this is the one.
Smart move. The Discover Card.
Great day.
Yeah, what are we doing tomorrow?
The Discover Card.
This Monday, Julie Andrews talks about a possible Oscar nomination and a new film.
Join us for Showbiz Today at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CNN.
Next Sunday on Explorer, one of the cruelest men in history produced some of the world's greatest engineering achievements. Now, 2,000 years later, underwater archaeologists are uncovering the secrets of King Herod's Harbor. See it on National Geographic Explorer, next Sunday and every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern on the SuperStation.
You're watching National Geographic Explorer on SuperStation WTBS.
Plymouth Sundance, the unbelievable American under $7,600. The best value of any car in its class, including the imports. Sundance, 47 standard features, front-wheel drive, quality backed by a 550 protection plan. Plymouth Sundance, the unbelievable American.
The pride is back. Born in America again.
No diet in the world will help you lose weight until you do one thing: control your appetite.
Everything's a lot easier with Dexatrim. I'm not hungry, so I lose weight.
Dexatrim. You can't buy a stronger appetite control formula without a prescription. Just one capsule works all day to help you lose weight.
With other diets, I was hungry. With Dexatrim, I wasn't hungry, and I lost the weight I wanted to.
Extra strength Dexatrim. No diet capsule works harder to help you lose weight.
Excuse me. Can I help you?
I'm not sure. I'm looking for the perfect TV. A 27-inch with black matrix, 110-degree angle of deflection, computer-accurate digital access tuning, 178 channels, built-in stereo decoder, and it's got to have infrared remote control that runs the TV, cable, and VCR, even if they're different brands. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. You want a Magnavox.
The perfect picture, the perfect remote. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
And now back to National Geographic Explorer and Tom Chapin.
There are those who can find beauty and solace in what to many of us might seem the remotest desolation. South Georgia Island is a place you may never have heard of. Once it was a center for whalers and seal hunters, and a stopover for explorers on their way to Antarctica. Now, most of the people are gone, and certain animals are thriving again. But South Georgia's still a pretty barren place, an island at the edge of the world.
This is not, as you might think, the scene of some forgotten shootout in the Midwest. It is our legacy to the erstwhile whaling metropolis of South Georgia, or if you like, a commemorative plaque to our business acumen in the Southern Ocean. And I look at the dereliction and the squalor, and I ask myself, did we have to? And when the killing had to stop, could we not have bowed out in better order? Not so long ago, you could have bandaged my eyes and set me down anywhere at all in South Georgia, and I'd have told you 9 times out of 10 where we were. Not anymore. I'm beginning to forget. That angers me, grieves me, because I've known the island since 1933. It was love at first sight. I've mapped it, took me 4 seasons. I've lived alone on my own patch, a shilling a year for a square mile. And I've enjoyed a peace of mind, just occasionally, I've experienced nowhere else. South Georgia is where I belong. The armchair geographers of the 18th century cherished a dream that there would one day be discovered the great South Land, temperate of climate, supportive of an exotic flora and fauna, inhabited by a cultured race of men not unlike Europeans. The reality, first encountered in January 1775 by Captain James Cook of the brig Resolution, was indeed different. A bleak and desolate landfall far to the east of Cape Horn, and even further removed from the wishful thinking of the stay-at-home theorist by the fireside. Nevertheless, new lands, however forbidding, must not be left to the next man. And Captain Cook had his orders, which he carried out and recorded forthwith in the ship's log. As soon as we drew near the shore, having hoisted out a boat, I landed at 3 different places, displayed our colors, and took possession of the country in His Majesty's name under a discharge of small arms. But South Georgia, the Isle of Georgia as Cook named it, was a bitter disappointment. And he made no bones about it. Lands doomed by nature to perpetual frigidness, never to feel the warmth of the sun's rays, whose horrible and savage aspect I have not words to describe. But that's an over-harsh appraisal of a typical subantarctic environment. South Georgia is a major mountain. Shouldering out of the cold waters of the Southern Ocean to nearly 10,000 feet. It lies squarely in the path of the west winds and is rather more than 50% ice covered. The result is a severe, damp, cold climate, cloudy, foggy, windy, with snow at sea level for 6 months in the year and an average temperature of just above freezing. South Georgia can frustrate the explorer, confound the tourist, and turn on the naturalist. Once the spring thaw gets underway, the explosion of wildlife on the beaches and in the tussock exceeds all expectation, even if you've been there before. The island can boast a flight of seabirds second to none, from the diminutive Wilson's petrel to the wandering albatross with a wingspan of up to 14 feet. Lovely to look at, majestic in flight, aloof as becomes an aristocrat of wind and wave, and marvelously endowed to go a-courting. South Georgia has never appealed much to explorers. It's too inclement, too physically difficult and dangerous, and it's not big enough to hold out any hope of a major discovery. The island's appeal has been to the merchant adventurer who sought to make himself a quick buck with little regard for the long-term practicalities and less for the ethics. Here, and only a few weeks' sail from the markets of China, Captain James Cook had stumbled on a limited El Dorado that the British and American fur sealers were quick to appreciate and to exploit. It was a primitive slaughter and indiscriminate. The sealers took the lot. One eyewitness describes how a large party would cautiously land to leeward of the rookery if possible. Then, at a given signal, all hands would approach them, shouting and using their clubs to the best advantage. Many hundreds were frequently taken in one of these knockdowns. Another contemporary account affirms that Captain Edward Fanning of the American corvette Aspasia visited this island in 1800 and secured a cargo of 57,000 fur seals, and that 16 other vessels procured at the same island in no more than 4 months 65,000 fur seal skins, making a total of 122,000 taken there in a single season. On this evidence, it's hardly surprising that the outcome for the fur seals of South Georgia in a mere 30 to 40 years was a virtual extermination. The sealers of the early 19th century had 2 strings to their bow, a luxury trade in the pelt of the fur seal and a worldwide demand for the blubber, the clear, sweet oil of the elephant seal. So they butchered both. First, the fur seal, because it was less trouble and more profitable. Then, and with an inspired barbarity, the elephant seal. Between the wars, when elephant sealing became once again a part of the South Georgian scene, it was conducted under license so as to conserve stocks. But the technique had hardly changed. You drove your seal to the water's edge, killed him, flensed him, rafted off the blubber skin, and left the rest to rot. But no more clubbing. The mate used a 303. This is a sealer's tripod. How many tons of blubber and gallons of oil have spewed and bubbled? And how many penguins, yes, penguins, have burned beneath or boiled within to add to the take-home pay? Imagine it if you can. The great black tripod on the fire. The file of trim, frock-coated victims shuffling and bowing with grotesque dignity to extermination.
We'll return to South Georgia Island when Explorer continues right after this. And now, a geographic moment.
No problem, guys. We've done it thousands of times before. Let's just do it right and fast. Up, Simba! Up! Ready, set, go!
The presentation soon will start, and your work plays a crucial part. Pressure's on, getting higher. Difference is you stay drier. Band Solid makes the difference, and the difference is Band-tastic.
Difference is Band's wide oval shape glides on super dry and keeps you drier than these leading solids.
Pressure's on, getting higher. Difference is you stay drier. Band Solid makes the difference, and the difference is Band-tastic.
Right now, Time magazine has good news for everyone who's ever wanted to make an important phone call, but couldn't find the number. Because if you order Time now, you'll get a free gift with your paid subscription. Time's exclusive phone file. It's a combination telephone and flip file directory to keep your phone numbers where they belong, with a phone. So instead of having to reach for a number,
write it down. Oh, here it is.
you just reach for the phone and the number's right there. With Time's gift, you can have all your numbers in one place. And with Time magazine each week, you can have the whole world in one place. Fascinating, exciting, entertaining, and informative. Time reaches to the heart of events and brings them home to you with a superb writing and photography that makes the experience of Time unique. And now it can be yours for almost half off the cover price. And with a thank you gift that means you'll never have to look high and low for a phone number. Instead, it'll always be at your fingertips. Time even makes it easier for you to call with push-button dialing. It has call muting for privacy and automatic redial. There's a handy pen and pencil holder, an area code directory, even a built-in clock. It's a Time magazine exclusive, and it's yours free when you subscribe for 30 weeks of Time at nearly half off the cover price, payable in 3 easy installments of just $9.79 each. And all you have to do is call our toll-free number.
What's the number?
1-800-525-2600.
Got it.
And with your paid subscription, you'll get Time's unique phone file free. So call now.
What was that number again? It was...
That's 1-800-525-2600. It's the most practical telephone ever invented. And it's part of Time's best offer ever. So don't miss it. You'll never lose a phone number again.
And now back to National Geographic Explorer.
The bones of Leviathan, of the blue whale and the fin, and of Moby Dick the sperm whale, who once fed and swam in these waters and sang their songs. You hear them now. And lived to a ripe old age, such genial monsters of the deep whom no whaler for many years could think how to destroy. How indeed does pygmy man still the pulse in 100 living tons of flesh and blood? Now this was the technique, the hand harpoon struck from a pulling boat, that had worked well enough in the Arctic and the temperate zones. But it wasn't one that could be used effectively against the whales of the Antarctic, twice as large and half as fast again. By this time, the latter part of the 19th century, it was clear to the whalers of the world that they must rethink their profession so that they could give the traditional and more accessible fishing grounds a rest and move in on the inexhaustible, and don't forget that's how it seemed to them, the inexhaustible whale stocks of the Southern Ocean. Slow, laborious, dangerous, wasteful. And there had to be a technical breakthrough. It came with the development of the steam whale catcher and the invention of the explosive harpoon, giving the whalers both speed and firepower to open up the fishing grounds around Antarctica. Even before the outbreak of the First World War, Antarctic whaling, especially in South Georgia, had mushroomed. There were, by 1911, 8 stations operating in the island, wastefully but very profitably. though the government of the Falkland Islands, to whom application had to be made for both lease and license, was already apprehensive of the effect of so much fishing on the whale stocks and was beginning to apply certain practical curbs, limiting the number of catches, insisting that the scrot, the carcass, be utilized as well as the blubber. Nevertheless, the whale catch figures during and after the war continued to rise, the whale stocks noticeably to decline, until even the whalers were expressing concern. They were also, of course, still making a very great deal of money. What happened, I think, was that nobody, from the manager right down to the Group 8 whalers, the lowest form of animal life as they were known, nobody foresaw the long-term depredations of wind and weather. The sordid decline of Boom Town once the gold rush was over, nobody foresaw this. The end would seem to have come very suddenly. The craftsmen downed tools and goggles and went for a tea break and haven't come back yet. They will, I'm sure they will. You can't walk out on a lifeboat that needs new sheathing on the keel. Or can you? "25 years ago, on a good fishing day, you'd see the catchers and the towboat running a shuttle service to the 3 active whaling stations on the island, Grytviken, Hoosvik, Leith, wallowing in with half a dozen whales in tow and frisking out after a quick turnaround to get back on the fishing grounds. It didn't take long. You could dispose of a 60-foot fin whale weighing 50 tons in 20 minutes flat. And then, almost overnight, all were gone. The little ships, the brutish men, all the shabby paraphernalia of the killing ground. And for 60, 70, 80 years, the island could gentle her hard-pressed wildlife, making good their losses, but so slowly, and be lulled by an epoch of blissful neglect into a sense of utterly false security. I suppose the day will come, and quite soon now, when the tour operators market their brochure. An island in the sun, where mountain and glacier reflect in the blue, brooding mirror of the sea, where silent factory and smokeless chimney bear witness to an industry that once stained with blood these beaches, where the wreck still moulders on the rocks that tore her bottom out, where an exotic wildlife throngs the shallows and the foreshore and the grasslands, and there'll be no end to what they promise you. But will the reality measure up? And I do wonder, because South Georgia needs time. I've always reckoned Prince Olaf the most picturesque of all the whaling stations. Looks like an oil painting, doesn't it? But when the industry went into decline in the 1930s, this was the first one to go and be sold off and cannibalized. It was a bit like working for North Sea Oil, but I think more interesting. Go for a walk in the tussock and along the shore, and you had company. You don't, of course, have to go that far today. The locals have long since repossessed Prince Olaf. In 1911 and 1912, the Norwegian whalers introduced a total of 17 reindeer, 5 bucks and 12 does. They liberated these in the coastal grasslands of the Stromness and Cumberland Bay areas, and looked forward to the time when venison would feature regularly on their menus. It didn't take all that long. Reindeer are reluctant to cross permanent ice, so the glaciers encircling the new arrivals effectively confined them to green pastures. The result, after 70 years, is a combined herd of around 2,000, which is quite a success story. When the wind gusts and fancifully eddies, the ballet of the black-browed albatross and the grey-headed is pure magic, a dream sequence in broad daylight, but for real. In 1955-56, Nigel Bonner, then sealing inspector, reported a few fur seals in the northwestern approaches to the island. By the mid-1960s, it was apparent that upwards of 20,000 were breeding on Bird Island and beginning to colonize the mainland. Then came the real population explosion that has rocketed the fur seals of South Georgia in some 15 years to a bewildering 500,000. When I look at the beaches and the grasslands hereabouts, and this major South Georgian river, alive again with the ebullient fur seal, I can't help feeling that Ludwig K. Larsen and his wife, she was here too, christened these precincts better than they knew. They called them the Tal der Hoffnung, Hope Valley. So what happens next? Or is this truly the end of one of history's bad jokes, of nature's raw deals? So did we have to? Probably yes and no. In the beginning, there were these 3 admirable species, the whale and the seal and the larger of the penguins, who, by their regrettable extermination, could contribute to our well-being. And since when have we been able to deny ourselves a killing with such potential for cash and advancement? But we're not usually quite so messy while we're at it, and we do usually tidy up. Surely, when man has dwelt in such a place of beauty as this and moves on, he should erase all significant trace, and not leave a slum for the ubiquitous vandal further to desecrate and despoil. Because this is an insult to the stage and the creature players, and a warning. For let it not be presumed that we shall conduct ourselves with any better grace should the secret places of Antarctica presently disclose yet another crock of gold. Some comfort there may be at the end of the day, and if there be any justice, when we shall have exhausted our capacity for wreaking havoc and must face a reckoning. It is not then we who will survive, but the island.
On the second half of Explorer, discover what's being done to prepare for the invasion of killer bees. They're headed our way. Then visit Pakistan's Kalash, a tribe whose ancient rituals and remote origins are shrouded in mysteries. It's coming up in a moment when Explorer returns.
I really like National Geographic Explorer. I like this magazine too. It's National Geographic World, just for kids 8 and older. It's full of super stories every month about animals, nature, and science. They have lots of contests and puzzles too. Super-sized pullouts and stories about kids who've done something very special. It only costs $10.95 a year, but World isn't sold in stores. You can only get it through the mail from National Geographic. Here's where to write for your subscription. National Geographic World, Department 7000, Washington, D.C., 20036. If you're a grown-up who wants to order a World for a gift, go ahead. Any kid would really love to get it. You'll see.
This is the beginning. The all-new Chrysler LeBaron. Beauty with a passion for driving. Advanced front-wheel drive traction. Positive response suspension. Fuel-injected high-torque power. Choose precision 5-speed. Heart-pounding turbo. All with the Chrysler Protection Plan. The new LeBaron from Chrysler. Driving to be the best.
You're about to set out on a wondrous journey. A journey that will test your perception, excite your imagination, and reward you as you've never been rewarded before. In February Omni, you will discover the frightening truth about a new campaign dedicated to censoring science in America's classrooms. And you can enter the great Omni treasure hunt, uncover the clues, and you might just drive off in a fabulous new AMC Jeep Wrangler. February Omni, on sale right now.
Monday, the Centennial Saga continues.
Welcome to Centennial.
They came at the turn of the century in search of a dream.
The inheritors of the future.
But time and nature would take its toll.
No place to go back to, and there's no money to go on.
And turn the dream into a nightmare. Alex Karras and Lynn Redgrave. James A. Michener's Centennial continues. 105 Eastern on a SuperStation Matinee, Monday.
You're watching National Geographic Explorer on the SuperStation.
I've got the flu and I ache, but I don't take aspirin anymore, or Tylenol. I choose Advil. Advil stops my headache, reduces fever, and relieves the aches.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Look to northwest.
Look who gives you Asia after only 60,000 miles. Europe after only 40,000 miles. And the continental United States after just 20,000 miles. Look whose frequent flyer program serves up the world faster than any other airline.
Look to us, northwest.
Hi, I'm Paul Horning. Football's always been a big part of my life, and to keep up, I always go straight to the source, the sporting news. It gives me more than all the other sports weeklies and monthlies, plus the complete story on baseball, basketball, hockey, and boxing. Here's how you can get it all and save a bundle in the bargain.
You'll get 36 issues of the sporting news for 3 easy payments of $6.54. You'll also get special preview issues at no extra cost. So call now toll-free 1-800-257-1234. 1-800-257-1234.
Thursday.
It can't be over.
Nuclear holocaust as seen through Soviet eyes.
Darkness had descended upon you.
Letters from a Dead Man, 8:05 Eastern on a SuperStation Thursday night. And now back to National Geographic Explorer and Tom Chapin.
Watch the skies everywhere. Keep looking. Keep watching the skies. Those are the final lines of The Thing, the 50s science fiction movie, a warning to look out for extraterrestrial invaders. Maybe we should take the advice. Invaders are coming our way, but they're not from outer space. They're very much of our planet and getting closer all the time. Destructive insects that threaten agriculture and even human life. Killer bees.
Honeybees have been sweetening our lives for centuries, but the relationship is going sour. In America's fertile fields, some tiny migrant workers often go unnoticed. Their job here is vital, to pollinate crops. Apples, pears, peaches, almonds, even alfalfa. A $19 billion industry depends on the process. A no less critical industry has grown up to help the bees do their job. Roving beekeepers truck hives to farms where there aren't enough local bees to cover the crops. Bees and farmers have been helping each other throughout history. But aggressive intruders are disturbing their peace and swarming their way towards the U.S. from South America. Killer bees. The problem began in Brazil in 1957, when 26 African bee swarms escaped from quarantined hives. These foreign imports were part of a genetic experiment to improve honey production. But docile bees proved no match for the insect immigrants. The genetically superior African bees took over all the local colonies. In just 6 years, Brazil's mild-mannered honeybees had been overwhelmed. The new bees terrorized Brazil. Chasing victims for up to a mile, they attacked livestock and people and earned the nickname killer bees. Since then, the bees have moved steadily north, advancing 200 to 300 miles a year and leaving a wake of destruction. Hundreds of people and thousands of animals have been stung to death. By 1989, African bees will push through Mexico into the United States. The bees arrived in Panama several years ago. Funneled through the densely populated canal zone, the bees threatened human safety. Mel Borum of the Canal Commission witnessed their impact.
Well, one of the most interesting aspects of the arrival of the African bee here is that there essentially were no bees in general here at all. There was no beekeeping activity in and around the Panama Canal area. And so when these large, noisy swarms began coming in with 15,000 to 16,000 bees and landing in someone's patio or on some piece of equipment with the Panama Canal, it was a terrifically alarming experience for everyone.
The canal became the bees' port of call. A swarm could sail north, stowed away on ships bound for the U.S. A leading African bee scientist, Orly Taylor, has tracked the insects through 9 countries over the last 12 years.
Well, this is very significant because we got a call here this morning, a call that a swarm had arrived here on the wall of this lock, right here in the canal area. We came down to investigate, and sure enough, the swarm is here, and another swarm had also landed in this area. The yearly advance of these bees in the mainland of Central America is about 300 miles per year. But the bees could easily be moved much more rapidly on shipboard. So the real significance of this effort here in the canal zone is that they're doing their best to keep these bees off of ships and keep them from being transported to other locations where they could become established.
When bees swarm, they rarely sting. Their energy is devoted to protecting the queen. But once they settle into new colonies, they become fiercely defensive.
Well, we have here an absolutely magnificently fine-tuned insect for defense, for self-defense. And whenever their nests are disturbed, they can literally come out in the thousands and cover an area of 200 and 300 meters, seeking out whatever the source of disturbance was. And this can be pretty serious if you can't get away.
Bee squads search and destroy African bees throughout Panama. In just 3 years, they've eliminated 27,000 colonies and swarms. Bee patrols are the local population's first line of defense, and Orly Taylor often travels with them.
Well, this colony has been mostly destroyed. We have a few bees harassing us here, but even these bees that are harassing us are so badly disoriented that they're really not likely to sting very much. If a bee stings, the sting gets pushed in, and it's a barbed sting. It's kind of like a harpoon. And it's kind of like a double-sided harpoon. They kind of take the sting and work it into your flesh. I hope you're getting this, Bob, because it hurts.
Unlike ordinary honeybees, Africans often attack in a mass, hundreds at a time. Had this mechanical dog been real, the bees would have killed it.
Well, if you really bump into one of these nests and you don't see it right away and the bees start to descend on you, it's a matter of running or dying. I mean, it's as simple as that. You've got to get yourself out of there. You've got to get yourself in cover. You've got to get yourself in a building. You've got to dive into the brush or dive into the water. Somehow you've got to get out of there because it really is run or die. There's no two ways about it. You've got to get away.
Attacks against people are rare, but they happen. A short distance from Canal Zone headquarters, unsuspecting workmen disturbed a wild nest. In the worst attack in 3 years, the victims sustained thousands of stings. This man survived only because his supervisor pulled him to safety.
I heard a man's voice from inside the thicket, a faint voice saying, "I'm dying." I saw Mr. Molina down in the ditch, lying down. I went over to him, and bees started attacking me. I pulled him by the arm, and he managed to walk as I pulled him. He was covered thick with bees. I kept killing them with my hands, but they kept coming.
The brush was still sting. They sting me in my head, in my face, behind my back and behind and everything. I messed up.
The real African bee threat is not to people, but to agriculture. In Panama, only a handful of beekeepers are still in business, and the honey industry has nearly been destroyed.
We were told the Africanized bees are coming. They're coming. They're here. But we did not prepare ourselves to what was going to happen.
The bees had already killed a horse.
Terrified neighbors burn beekeepers' hives and sue to replace dead livestock. Most honey producers have given up.
At this moment, there's something.
One exception is Juan Maliverne. A lifelong beekeeper, Maliverne invested his fortune in honey production long before African bees arrived. Protecting his business has been a costly struggle, but he's determined.
To be able to handle these bees, you have to send 2 men of your crew with large smokers and smoke the hives throughout the apiary. Spend 15 minutes smoking all the hives.
What used to be work for 3 people now takes 8. No one could do the job without protection from head to toe. Expensive bee suits sealed with duct tape. The small reward for this persistence is liquid gold. Honey, higher priced because of short supply. Still, the personal cost of producing it has been too great, and American beekeepers will soon be sharing it. A single swarm of African bees raided California last year. The bees hitched a ride on cargo shipped from South America. This first wave was quickly destroyed, but by the end of the decade, officials will have to contend with millions of bees. No country has managed to stop an invasion of killer bees, and the U.S. won't be an exception. But we may be able to protect our honey and pollination industries. Our best bet lies in beating the African bees at their own game, controlling the breeding population. Queen bees mate for life. Queens artificially inseminated with sperm from tame honeybees could hold the Africans back. Here at their California apiary, Sue Kobe and Tim Lawrence are inseminating queens they supply to beekeepers nationwide. They say what's needed now are laws that force beekeepers to annually requeen their hives with quality stock. But this is only one solution. There aren't enough of these specially bred queens to mount a defense, and we're running out of time. Orly Taylor has been working on another solution, an experiment with a select European bee whose behavior competes with its African cousin.
Well, one of the things we're very curious about is why African drones seem to have a mating advantage. Every time we had a European queen go out on a mating flight, she'd come back mated almost entirely by African drones, which I have here. And the reason appears to be that European queens fly further from their apiaries or further from their colonies than drones from the same colonies or apiaries. And the effect of it is that European bees are just finished in the tropics. And hopefully we're going to be able to prevent that by adjusting the behavior of European drones in the United States. So we have some real genetic resistance to this invasion.
It's promising research, but like most African bee experiments, underfunded.
I think the public perception of this is that it's a hoax, that it's a joke. I mean, it's a Saturday Night Live with John Belushi coming out and waving his antennae and hollering out, "You're Pollen or your wife." Well, it's not a joke. It's a serious issue, and we're going to have to confront this head on, and we're going to have to put some resources into solving this problem.
Over and over again, countries face up to the African bee challenge too late. Is the U.S. about to repeat the mistake? At the moment, only one thing is certain. African bees are right on schedule.
An update. Last August, a graduate student from the University of Miami was killed by a swarm of killer bees in Costa Rica. That's to the west and north of Panama. And Orley Taylor says he's developed a new way to slow the killer bees, an artificial pheromone with a scent that will attract the bees to traps. Next on Explorer, meet the mysterious Kalash, a tribe in Pakistan who've maintained their pagan way of life for thousands of years. It's right after this.
And now, a geographic moment.
Ford announces a new 6-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty on all new 1987 Ford cars. And you can now get 3.9% financing plus up to $600 cash back on Tempo, Escort, and Mustang. Combined with option package discounts, you can save up to $1,558 on Ford Tempo, $1,335 on Ford Mustang, and $1,294 on Ford Escort. Ford value, better than ever.
Now, through this special TV offer, Andre Crouch, Sandra Crouch, and America's greatest gospel singers bring you the all-time gospel favorites with Reverend James Cleveland, Evangelist Shirley Caesar, and back in gospel to stay, Al Green.
Let me stay. I'm looking for a miracle.
The Clark Sisters. The Winans. Marion Williams.
Mama kept on moving.
This treasury is not sold in stores, and when you call the toll-free number now, you also get another entire album of all-time gospel favorites.
Wonderful.
With 2 great hits from Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers.
In the Bible days.
Remember, call now. Hear the choir messages all America is singing. Keep Pringle. Reverend Thomas L. Walker. And with the true message for today, the Cosmopolitan Choir. Jesse Jackson's personal pastor, Reverend Clay Evans. Write this toll-free number down and call now. Get both treasuries of all-time gospel favorites, only $14.98. And on all records and tape sets, we include 2 special selections. You get the legendary Reverend C.L. Franklin's most inspiring sermon and the heart-touching story of the old lady who was put out on the streets. Operators are standing by. Call now for all-time gospel favorites.
Richard Widmark is a sheriff fighting to protect a town that's turned against him. Death of a Gunfighter. 8:05 Eastern on the SuperStation Monday night.
And now back to National Geographic Explorer and Tom Chapin.
There is a land that time almost forgot, a rugged territory straight out of lost horizon. Its mysterious people may be the descendants of the soldiers of one of the world's ancient conquerors. They are called the Kalash, the last pagans. Their numbers are dwindling, their traditions fading, but they cling to vestiges of the past, living a hard-scrabble existence in a part of Pakistan close to the border of Afghanistan, among the Hindu Kush Mountains.
These men are going to an ancient altar made of stone, a holy place where they can ask a favor of their gods. They are Kalash, the last of the Black Kafirs, a pagan tribe buried deep in the Hindu Kush Mountains of Pakistan. There are now only 2,000 Kalash, a tribe whose rites and rituals seem like the stuff of imagination and fantasy. Once upon a time, the men led 60 goats to be sacrificed at the altar of Mahandeo. Today, a single goat is all they can afford. Mahandeo is displeased. The charmed and protected Kalash are vanishing. Kalash women wear elaborate handcrafted headdresses from dawn to dusk. They express their joys and sorrows, fears and hopes in the intoxicating rhythms of traditional dance. The Kalash have many ritual taboos concerning birth and marriage, sacrifice and death. They believe in many gods and goddesses, beings who infuse the valleys with their presence. The mountains once protected those beliefs against external influence. The Hindu Kush was a fortress that held invading armies and ideas at bay. But the mountains are no barrier against the incursions of 20th century life. Beyond these rising peaks, the isolated world of the Kalash gives way to the complex reality of modern Pakistan, a stronghold of the Muslim faith. The city of Lahore has been a Muslim center for the past 800 years. Its life is dominated by the strict commandments of Quran, the Muslim Bible. Islam is a demanding master. Women are veiled and often hidden. It is taboo to show affection in public. Censorship is zealous. Alcohol is outlawed. The call to prayer rings out 5 times a day. Anyone who fails to embrace Islam is alien and unclean. Even in the countryside, Islam retains its influence. The mountain town of Chitral is many miles from Lahore, but it is as fervently Islamic as the rest of Pakistan. Locked in a primitive time warp, Chitral functions much as it always has. Women are rarely seen, and the men go about their business as if the 20th century had never arrived. The people of Chitral still play bushkashi, an ancient and ferocious game of chase from northern India. The rider who snatches up the carcass of a sheep must keep his grip on it while galloping the length of the field. To visitors, the game seems alien and remote from Western culture. But an even more exotic world exists a few short miles from the playing field. A world as different from the rest of Pakistan as Pakistan is different from New York or London. The world of the Kalash. To reach the valleys of Kalash, visitors must travel 3 hours by jeep across high mountain tracks. Dust churned up by the wheels hangs like talcum powder in the air as the adventure begins. Treadless tires and a path cut into the side of awesome cliffs. Trucks and buses overloaded with passengers confronting one another on a high pass built for one. The constant threat of plunging into steep ravines. A driver who smokes and chews hashish because it calms his fear. Makeshift roads that sometimes crumble into nothingness. These are the ingredients of any journey to the valleys of Kalash. At the entrance to the largest valley, the police maintain a tiny station. Here they stand a lonely watch, taking care to register all visitors. The guards look out for missionaries, both Christian and Muslim. Their instructions are to turn away whoever tries to bring a Bible or Quran to the pagans. Despite this vigil, the teachings of Islam have made their way into the valleys, changing and diluting the Kalash religion. Other aspects of the modern world are equally intrusive. Among them is a bitter war that rages in the hills nearby, where Russian troops are trying to maintain their occupation of Afghanistan. For the Kalash, this war is a reminder that the pressures of the outside world are never far away. Shepherds carry rifles when they move into the hills, weapons to protect themselves from the machines of someone else's war. Yet to all appearances, the land of the Kalash is peaceful and unspoiled, a sweep of hills and fields where icy water rushes over polished stones. Through the centuries, the verdant beauty of this place has made it seem a Shangri-La, a landscape worth the journey over mountain passes. There are donkeys hauling stones that will be used to fix a broken watercourse. The man who owns the sewing machine is stitching and patching old clothing from the markets of Chitral. At the only shop in town, a merchant proudly shows his wares. Nearby, a house is going up, one stone at a time. The frame has been completed, but it will take some time to add the walls of mud. From a distance, Kalash villages seem as fragile as a pack of cards. but the sturdy beams and layered mud are built to last. Villages are placed on mountain slopes where they catch the winter sun but manage to avoid the summer heat. The upper level of each hut has a spacious veranda and a large room where the family eats and sleeps. The lower level houses livestock. Everything connected with survival, climate and health, nourishment and agriculture is steeped in superstition. In everything they do and everywhere they go, the Kalash encountered demons, gods, and fairies of various rank. Kodai, who made the universe, rules over life and death. He is served by angels, though he has no altar of his own. Mahandeo is the favorite god. He inhabits the valleys, so his altar is the place where goats are sacrificed. Geshtak, the goddess of the home, has a temple of her own in every village. There are fairies who live in golden palaces. There is a heaven and a hell. The first humans were Adam and Hava. The gods often battle one another for supremacy, like the deities of ancient Greece. There may be more to that coincidence than meets the eye. In 327 BC, Alexander the Great fought the people of these mountains. When the war was over, many of his soldiers stayed behind. 2,000 years later, enigmatic hints of ancient Greece can still be found. From time to time, there is even a child with blonde hair or blue eyes. Witness their way of life. Hear the tales of the old men and look into their faces. There is much to suggest that these are the children of Alexander.
More on the customs of the Kalash when Explorer continues in a moment.
Just off Route 19 in St. Petersburg is a place where you can learn to ski the Alps and shoot the rapids all in the same building. At Bill Jackson Sporting Goods, you can practice everything from a stem Christie to an Eskimo roll. But if you go there, remember, bring your imagination and your Visa card. Because Bill Jackson doesn't promise you Sun Moritz, and he doesn't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
The 87 Yugos are here, and people love them.
I think it's fun to drive.
I like the rack and pinion steering.
We wanted a dependable second car.
It's easy to love America's most affordable new car, the $39.90 Yugo GV. And now there's even more value during Yugo's Pack for Action sale. You can get sport wheel covers, a right side mirror, roof rack.
Great!
And a 3-year, 50,000-mile extended service plan.
Wow!
All at terrific savings.
I'll take it.
Hurry, this offer won't last long. See your participating Yugo dealer today.
All the NBA stars came out this weekend. Charlie Neal is live from Seattle with a full report on the Legends game, the long shot and slam dunk competition, and the All-Star game, plus an interview with a new Hall of Famer. Nick Charles is in studio with National Prep Football Report publisher Tom Lemming to pick our awesome 11, the nation's top college football prospects, and to tell which schools are doing the best job of recruiting. Plus Paul Wrighton with figure skating champion Debbie Thomas and all the week's sports. Tonight at 11 on the Coors Sports page.
You're watching National Geographic Explorer on the SuperStation.
My mother always took Anacin. So do I. It's one of the few things we ever agreed on.
Anacin, doctor recommended for effective pain relief.
A couple of Anacin and the pain's gone. Fast.
Doctor recommended Anacin, now coated caplets too.
Guess what's coming to dinner? New Le Menu Lifestyle. Elegant dinners with under 350 calories. Like sherry glazed chicken, white and wild rice, and broccoli florets. Le Menu Lifestyle dinners. The first light dinners with Le Menu sense of style.
What do I feel like having? No. Nope. No. Chocolate. I could go for something chocolatey, but crispy.
Kit Kat, that's what you want?
Yeah, Kit Kat, that's what I want. How did that get in there?
Of these best-selling supplements, Centrum has more nutrients, more than Theragram M, Myodate, Within. One a day essential. Centrum outnumbers them all, and Centrum has calcium. Some don't. Centrum, from A to Zinc.
And now back to National Geographic Explorer.
By dim light, Bambu Khan, the village chief, whispers stories to his children. Stories of gods, fairies, and spirits that inhabit fields and mountains. The tales are traditional, part history, part myth. They create the ideals and beliefs by which these children learn to lead their lives. Many of the stories are identical to Aesop's fables, another parallel to ancient Greece. After a meal of goat's meat, there is potent wine to wash it down. Then, as fire flickers on the hillside, the men begin their sport. A wrestling match in which the winner pins his rival to the ground. Here again, the style is distinctly Mediterranean. The women link their arms and start a slow dance charged with melancholy. Greek visitors regard it as amazingly similar to traditional folk dancing in the north of their country. And the men are moving to the drums, their steps inspired by battles that happened in these mountains long ago. How much, if anything, have the Kalash inherited from Alexander and his soldiers? The older men have theories of their own.
I am sure I am descended from the Greeks. When I was a boy, the elders of my village told me there were documents to prove our heritage, but they were lost hundreds of years ago.
Stories of Greek ancestry are passed from father to son. So is a more practical tradition based on generations of experience. Through the centuries, the people of these valleys have constructed simple but effective aqueducts. Hollowed logs and carefully placed stones ensure a constant flow of water. The channels pass through fields to irrigate the crops. There is always fresh water for cooking and drinking. Its power is harnessed to grind wheat and corn for bread. The Kalash believe that water has a sacred power to purify the spirit, but they seldom use it for washing. They see dirt as unpleasant and impure, but they do not know it brings disease. There is a taboo on cleansing any newborn baby for the first 7 days of its life. Toddlers are not bathed at all. A typical Kalash woman has many children, often to watch them die. Because she is regarded as impure, the gods allow her little meat or honey. and her diet is drastically low in protein. She must avoid all shrines and sacred places, for her presence would pollute them. There are even areas within her home that are forbidden to her. Working hard in the fields beneath a burning sun, she becomes worn out and haggard decades too soon. She is engaged at 8 or 9 and married in her teens. Divorce is common, but when a woman runs away from an unhappy marriage, her father and his friends will find her and beat her into returning. If another man claims her, he must pay twice the original dowry. If her marriage ends in failure, she often has to choose between a life of solitude and a series of affairs. Priscilla McGrath, a social anthropologist, has lived with the Kalash, learning their language and trying to fathom the complexities of their culture.
One's first impression is that it's very much more liberal society for women, but there are a lot of cultural things which make life difficult for seemingly incomprehensible reasons. So it's not liberal in the way that European societies. To a lot of Muslims, any women who aren't in seclusion or in purdah or under very strict control from their male relatives would immediately be considered promiscuous. I mean, European travellers are as well. One very significant thing for the Kalash people is there are a lot of Muslim tourists who come to the Kalash valleys just to see women, to take photographs.
For the next few days, these women must endure a dirty, blackened hut known as the Bashali. They are menstruating and regarded as unclean. The hut where they remain is set aside for special seasons in the life of women, including childbirth. The interior is small and dark, with little air or hygiene. When a woman goes there, she enters a realm divorced from men and ordinary life. Priscilla McGrath has spent several nights in the Bashali.
The Bashali rules are very strictly kept. A woman goes into the Bashali for 5 days when she's menstruating. She's not allowed to go into the village. She's allowed to go down the valley, but not up the valley. And that's because behind the village, there's a sacred place where the men sacrifice animals. And if the women move up the valley, then that place will become impure. There's a goddess called Geshtak who lives in the houses, and if a woman who is menstruating goes into a house, then Geshtak will leave the house, and a lot of bad luck will come to that family. So when the women leave the Bashali, or if they want to go into the village, they have to wash themselves completely in the river and wash all their clothes. That's winter or summer.
These men are washing their feet, not to clean them, but to sanctify them. In a country that prohibits alcohol, they are about to disobey the law by making a supply of wine. Because the Kalash are careful to avoid offending their Muslim neighbors, winemaking is a clandestine procedure. There is little ritual attached to the making of wine, just bare feet in a simple press and the intonation of a chant to help maintain the rhythmic energy. The wine will ferment for only 3 months. Loaded with sediment and tasting like a blend of grape juice and vinegar, It's poured into bottles and handed round like stolen goods. Most of it is saved to fuel the energy of dancing feet at festivals, funerals, or wedding celebrations. Bambu Khan has promised his 16-year-old daughter to his neighbor's son. The families gather together in the temple of Geshtak. Each group has brought a goat, an offering intended to ensure the family's prayers will reach the goddess. This is the only holy place that may be entered by women, a concession to the vital role they play in raising families. A virgin youth, pure because he has maintained his distance from the opposite sex, nestles one of the goats in his lap. As the goats are sacrificed, the families will ask for luck and a successful marriage. Then, in a simple ceremony, the couple will be married, and the celebration will begin.
Kalash will continue when Explorer returns right after this.
The following geographic moment is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
What kind of man pursues a dream against tremendous odds for over 16 years? What kind of dream is powerful enough to hold someone in its grasp for all those years?
Years ago, Ford Escort became the world's best-selling car. And over those years, we've improved its engine, suspension, and interior. There is one thing, however, we couldn't improve upon. For 4 years running, it's still the world's best-selling car. This is Escort.
Ford, now with a 6-year, 60,000-mile new car powertrain warranty.
Reversing Africa's decline will require a long-term commitment reaching far beyond immediate relief. All of us share this planet, its successes and its failures. Whether our world changes for the better or for the worse will depend on each one of us. You can help by joining the Better World Society. Better World produces television programs to involve the public in the critical global issues of our time: environmental degradation, the nuclear arms race, and overpopulation. Through the power of television, we're building a global constituency to campaign for a peaceful, sustainable planet.
We must join together in a common voice to help make a better future. Call Better World now for information on how you can help.
No diet in the world will help you lose weight until you do one thing: control your appetite.
I get results from Dexatrim without making sacrifices. I'm not hungry, and I lose weight.
Dexatrim. You can't buy a stronger appetite control formula without a prescription. Just one capsule works all day to help you lose weight.
You don't even think about eating, so the weight comes off.
Extra strength Dexatrim. No diet capsule works harder to help you lose weight.
Monday night, a sheriff fighting to protect a town that's turned against him. They're saying killing's in his blood.
Well, isn't it?
If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here alive and kicking now, would I?
Richard Widmark, death of a gunfighter. Then,
I'm the best trapper in the North Country.
but Stuart Granger soon finds that being the best isn't always enough. The Wild North. It all begins at 8:05 Eastern on the SuperStation Monday night.
And now back to National Geographic Explorer.
Like children everywhere, the young Kalash have ample time to entertain themselves. As soon as a child is old enough to hold a scythe, he takes his place beside his father. Salim is 7. His older brother, Janib, is 13. Neither one has been to school. The family needs their labor to survive, and education seems far less important than the need for food and shelter. These children will never learn to read or write. All they will ever know is subsistence farming. Their ignorance will make them vulnerable to the forces of a changing world. The dilemma threatens to undermine or even sweep away their culture. There is an alternative to ignorance, but it carries danger of its own. There are 200 students at this government school. 95% of them are Muslim. Kalash parents will not let their children study here because they do not want them to absorb Islam. Still, Islam has become an inescapable fact of life for the Kalash. Every valley has a mosque from which the call to prayer rings out like a triumphant conqueror. The voices of the Kalash gods are growing faint. Economic hardship makes the situation even worse. Kalash farmers are no longer independent. They must give enormous portions of their grain and walnut crops to Muslim landlords. They lease the land that once belonged to them and struggle hard to feed their families. It takes a strong man to remain Kalash when the outside world is closing in. The elders watch in sadness as their tribe disintegrates.
The only Kalash people who are left are in the three valleys of Berir, Bambaret, and Rambul, and they do not number more than 2,000. A lot of Muslims have come into our valleys and have settled here. They own trees and they own land. Worst of all, our young people are attracted by the cities, and they are leaving the valleys. The old ways are finishing, and that is my regret.
There is no visible animosity between Kalash and Muslim. They live side by side throughout the valleys, coexisting peacefully. When Yar Khan, a Muslim, holds a feast in memory of his father, all his neighbors are invited. The division is between sexes, not religions. On this occasion, Kalash women are not allowed onto the roof where food is being served, while Muslim women, restricted by purdah, are hidden in the house below. The only sign of anger is a small dispute concerning money. The valley shopkeeper is demanding the repayment of a debt. The men tell him that this is not the time or place for such demands, and the dispute is settled quickly. Farmers will drift in from the fields all day. Some will stay, but most will leave with bread, meat, and a mixture of beef soup and flour called josh. Tonight, their families will eat well. Yar Khan will feed 300 people. It will cost him thousands of rupees, but he believes that the expense is worth the glory it will bring his father's soul. His Kalash neighbors can no longer honor their dead with such extravagance, nor can they afford to hire the man who carves the death statues. Once, he would have been commissioned to create a wooden effigy. The more important the deceased, the bigger the statue. Today, he chops at a small piece of fir tree, fashioning a souvenir for a tourist. He is the last of the woodcarvers, and his skill is not being passed to a younger man. Within a generation, there will be no one to carve the statues that once gave glory to the Kalash dead. The death statues of antiquity were giants that loomed over the grave. Often they were man and horse fused together like the centaurs of Greek mythology. They stood on the hill of the dead like an army marching to eternity. Now they are stored in the vaults of museums. Only these three remain. Within a month, winter will claim the valleys of Bambaret, Rambul, and Berir. The fields will turn white, and the Kalash will hasten to their huts, withdrawing from a changing world. Already the herdsmen are returning from the mountains. Soon, the celebration of Chitramas will begin. December will be filled with music and chanting, feasting and sacrifice. Many prayers will be offered to Mahandeo and Geshtak. For these goats, it will be a final winter. One herdsman lingers in the mountains. He has been appointed to a special role called Bidulak. Once, the gods demanded that he be a virgin and remain for 6 months on a mountaintop, isolated from the women of his tribe. After his return, however, he could make love to as many women as he wanted. The tradition has been modified, but the gods continue to insist on months of isolation for the bidulak. Each year, the bidulak returns from isolation by the light of a full moon. He arrives in a torchlight procession that triggers the beginning of a festival. There is still spirit and passion in these pagan rituals. At moments such as this, it almost seems that history has decided to stand still, allowing the Kalash to stay as they have always been. But the reality is cruel and unforgiving. Someday soon, these valleys may retain a memory of the Kalash and nothing more.
National Geographic Explorer will return after this.
Yeah, I finally learned how to complicate my life. This morning, I dropped the kids off at Mom's and came home and colored my hair. With Nice and Easy. You thought it was my natural color? I can't believe you didn't know. No, it's really soft. Tom loves the way it feels. He's taking me away, isn't he? Listen, I've got to run. He's waiting. Of course I'm excited. I've never been there. But Nice and Easy, that's my style.
Welcome to the new world, where all the rules have changed. A world of financial expertise to manage cash, build IRAs, finance mortgages, and a world of insurance protection for lives, health, and property. It's the world of the travelers, one of America's strongest diversified insurance and financial experts. Have you looked under the Traveler's umbrella lately?
Peter Finch is mad. Faye Dunaway just wants her share. Robert Duvall is trying to keep a job, while William Holden tries to stay young. Winner of 4 Academy Awards. See the guts of television.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Network, 8:05 Eastern on the SuperStation, Wednesday night.
You're watching National Geographic Explorer on the SuperStation.
You're about to see one of the many things this Ford Taurus can hold. It's called the Road. Ford designed the Taurus wagon to handle confidently and to respond with precision. Because you should get more out of a wagon than what you put into it. This is Taurus.
Ford, now with a 6-year, 60,000-mile new car powertrain warranty.
It's 5 below, but for me it's 101. I've got the flu and I ache.
But I don't take aspirin anymore, or Tylenol. I choose Advil. Advil contains a non-prescription strength of ibuprofen. Doctors have recommended Advil over 5 million times for so many types of pain. Advil stops my headache, reduces fever, and relieves the aches. Shouldn't you try Advil this flu season? Advil, tablets and new caplets, advanced medicine for pain.
Jennifer, would you like some milk?
Okay.
And Hershey syrup? Jim, want some milk?
Sure, Mom.
And Hershey syrup?
As good as milk is, the rich chocolatey taste of Hershey syrup makes it even better. Just ask your kids.
Michael, how about some milk? And Hershey syrup?
Hershey syrup makes good things even better.
That's the end of our show. But in our own inimitable fashion, we'll be back again next week with more journeys, more adventures. Here's a preview. We'll travel to the Mediterranean for the excavation of an extraordinary harbor city built 2,000 years ago by the legendary King Herod. We'll shoot rapids in a kayak and meet the gentle people who live on the banks of Morocco's River Rose. We'll feast on a midday meal delivered by Dabawalas in Bombay. Yale's Whiffenpoofs may have to sing for their supper, but next week they'll make sweet harmony in China. And we'll sail high above the Rockies with the world's most daring hang gliders. I'm Tom Chapin. See you next time on Explorer.
Remember, you can see the world's greatest adventures on National Geographic Explorer every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, Mondays at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern. National Geographic Explorer has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? CNN, the world's most important network.
Slams, jams, three-point bombs, and all the stars of the NBA All-Star Weekend. Plus the inside story on this year's class of college football recruits. Plus Paul Ryden with figure skating champion Debbie Thomas and all the week's sports. Tonight at 11.